You think the Ravens are the biggest winners in the AFC North this offseason?
This is a team that consistently is going to be in position to contend because of how talented they are. The reality of it is those guys can play.
In the AFC should watch out for the Baltimore Ravens this season.
Players in the NFL, certainly one of the best players at quarterback. They got a guy at tailback in J.K. Dobbins, who I think could be an all-pro. They got one of the best tight ends in football, a plethora of perimeter weapons, some health on the offensive line, a very good defensive line, one of the better young linebackers in the NFL, and a top 5 secondary. And no one talks about it.
Yo, what it is? Welcome back, Flockers. I'm back. Yo, welcome back to another episode of At the Bank, a Baltimore Ravens podcast, yo. And we are here with this live pregame show against my beloved Ravens, against them Cincinnati Bengals, a.k.a. the Alley Cats. We got tonight, man. It should be a very, very interesting game, you feel me? And I got a lot to get off my chest, man. And like I said, this show is going to be so dope because after I get my rant on and telling y'all and persuading y'all why I think my Ravens will win, because yes, I said it, my Ravens will win tonight. I got a special guest going to be appearing in a couple of minutes, man. I was just on his show not too long ago, and we made a dope connection on his last episode, man. And I cannot wait to introduce my next guest, man. But tonight is the night. It is Thursday night lights, you feel me? And the lights going to be shining bright at the Ep25 Stadium, you feel me? Because Cincinnati comes into town, man. And honestly, like I said, I gave y'all my prediction who I felt like is going to win. Baltimore is going to win. And here's my score that I think that Baltimore is going to win by. It's going to be a kind of a close game. But I think my Ravens will prevail and pull it out 24-17. For the simple fact, man, that number one, we need this win. Like, we need this. And then another fact, that a simple fact that I feel like we're going to win today is we already beat the Bengals already. And we did it in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? So them coming to the bank, man, thinking they're going to deposit their checks into our accounts, it's not happening. It's not going down, you feel me? And you know what I mean? And this is the reason why I feel like the Ravens will win. Because number one, the Ravens, like I just said, we cannot afford to lose consecutive division games. We just lost to the Cleveland Browns last week, man, and that really fucking hurt us. It really hurt us to the point that people are now starting to question us. Are we true contenders? Are we the team to be? Do we just keep on laying down to these stinkers? So us losing consecutive division games cannot happen, and I don't think it's going to happen. You feel me? And also, the Ravens have not lost consecutive games this year. When we lost to the Colts, we bounced back and spanked the team the following week. When we lost to the Steelers, we bounced back and went to London and spanked the Titans and showed that our offense are a high-powered offense. And then for the simple fact that the Bengals are going to be kind of short-handed. They will not be having T. Higgins tonight. They will not be having Sam Hubbard tonight. And it's a possibility they probably not going to have their other edge rusher too, man. So all those things right there is starting to swing momentum into the Ravens' favor. You feel me? So I just cannot wait for my boys to actually show and actually tell people that we are real contenders. And last week was just a game in the past. You know what I mean? Real championship teams know how to bounce back off of a loss. And I feel like that we are a real championship team and we're going to bounce back after this loss. The reason why I feel like the Ravens lost last week also is because we was looking ahead. We was worrying about Thursday night game and could not worry about Sunday. And then once you worry about the future, man, the past tends to creep up and get you. And that's what happened. The past did creep up because remember in the past, we spanked Cleveland when they put that third string quarterback in. It was everybody was like, "Oh no, the Ravens, you only won because they had third string quarterback." And I was hoping that my Ravens was going to just prove the haters wrong. That it doesn't matter who's your quarterback. We was going to win. But Deshaun Watson wound up winning the game, went 14 for 14, and like, God damn. I'm hoping that Joe Burrow do not do that because we already seen that now Joe Burrow and them Cincinnati Bengals is starting to peak a little bit. Yes, they did lose last week to the Houston Texans. Oof, and that was a shocker. But at the same time, man, I think that the Bengals was also looking forward to Thursday night game and kind of slept on the Houston Texans and let that one go in the grasp of their hands. But you know, the one thing I did see from the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow starting to look like Joe Burrow again. He's starting to look like that quarterback that took his team to the AFC Championship and then to the Super Bowl. Back-to-back AFC Championships. So, you know, like I said, this game is going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We got to see, number one, who's going to make it out the North. Because we already know the North right now is sitting 22-11. The best goddamn division in NFL right now. So that's another thing we're going to have to pay attention to. And then another thing is that my Ravens are going to have to kind of pay attention to also is that the fact that we got some injuries that we need to take care of. We got some guys that's also not going to be playing tonight. Also, just like Ronnie Stanley is out. Our all-pro left tackle, man. Like, goddamn, we need a refund on this guy. He owes us some money back. Trenton Simpson is also on concussion protocol again. This is the second time him being in concussion protocol this year. Marlon Humphrey is doubtful. He's a game time decision. We got to see how that calf is going to hold up. And Devin Duvernay, man, our special team specialist, is also questionable. I'm thinking he's going to play. He's leaning towards more playing. Kyle Van Noy was also on the question list. So I'm hoping that these guys are actually going to suit up and play, man. So fingers crossed that my Ravens at least come at least 85% healthy. Because, you know, like I said, losing Ronnie Stanley, man, that left side is going to have to really pay attention to. And also our left guard is also kind of battling injuries too. So that left side of the ball, man, Lamar, his blind side, going to have to really pay attention to. But, you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and keep on persuading y'all and think that my Ravens will win because, yes, the Ravens will win, man. You know what I mean? I have a special guest. And like I said, I was on his show just a couple of days ago, man, and I think we had hit it off and made a good chemistry. Even though he's from Cincinnati, I didn't know that the Cincinnati Bengals really had fans, really. I just thought that all their stadium is all built up with AI people, you know what I mean, or fake crowd noises, you know what I mean. I didn't know Cincinnati really had fans. But my guy reached out to me, man, and I'm glad he reached out to me because I'm pretty sure y'all would like to kind of hear what the Bengals fans have to say. You know, I'm pretty sure you're not. But hey, we're going to find out anyway. But before I get there and I introduce my guest, man, I got a couple of comments, man. I got my guy Bryson from the Grid Network. He got the Bengals winning 27-20. As bad as y'all need, the Cincinnati is on the brick, and if they lose, if they win, they are on top of the North. Oh, nobody don't care about the Steelers, Bryson. F your Steelers. Come on here next time when you want to talk Ravens talk. We ain't talking about no Steelers right now, man. Black and yellow. Get that little gay color out of here, man. Get out of here with that, man. Yes, sir, Barry. We at the bank tonight, baby. Yes, sir. Big trust. Shout out to my guy, Barry, man. But it's here. I'm ready to go ahead and go toe-to-toe with this guy again. Like I said, y'all, he's a Cincinnati fan. I don't know why, but we're going to find out once we get him on here. But please welcome my guy, Mr. Bengals Genius, or he like to call himself What, I forgot the name he like to call us. He gonna call his own self that name when he gets on here. So I like to walk with my guy, the Bengals genius. What it is, my guy?
What's up, Dev? Great to be
feeling,
here.
man?
Great to be here. I watched The Wire all day, ate some lake trout, right? I learned all about Baltimore. I know all about it. And now we also know from learning about Baltimore that Lamar now makes a little bit less than Joe Burrow, and for good reason. Now, one thing you already said, and I'm wondering what happened, because you seem a little shook now, because the other day you said the Ravens were going to win 31-17. But now it's 24-17. What happened?
That first of all, losing your left side of the line, it's not a good recipe. You know what I mean? Like you heard me say, All Pro Ronnie Stanley not playing, and our rookie offensive guard is not playing. So that left side is most definitely a side to watch out for. So I couldn't feel all the way comfortable with going that 31, but I still got us winning. So it's not like I made a completely U-turn.
But you seem like you're second guessing it a little bit, you know. And now, and you got to know, it's somewhere in the back of Baltimore's head. That original game this year, that wasn't healthy Joe. That was beat up Joe. He couldn't snap from under the center. He couldn't roll out. He couldn't run at all. Now he couldn't even throw deep. He couldn't drive off that foot. Now he's back, and real Joe is 4-1. And the guy has been over 70% the last 5 weeks. We are rolling. Last week was a blip. Honestly, if Tyler Boyd didn't drop that pass, we would have won that game too. But you can't make excuses. It is what it is. We're in a tough spot because we're 5-4. You know what I mean? So the way I got it, we could technically lose 3 games the rest of the season and get in at 10-7, but I'd rather just win out and get that number 1 seed if still possible. But I don't even know if 13-4 will get it done this year.
Nah, it's gonna most definitely be hard. And since you want to bring up the past, you want to talk about how Joe Burrow wasn't Joe Burrow in week 2, man. Do y'all want to count that playoff win y'all got last year? Because Lamar wasn't there. And y'all barely escaped.
You mean the greatest play in playoff history? That Hubbard run, Lamar was lucky. They wouldn't have stood a chance. That's the problem with this rivalry right now, is there hasn't been enough Lamar and Joe. If I'm not mistaken, what we say, have they played 3 times or is it 4?
4 times. 4 times.
4 times. Okay, so I know Lamar's got the best of. We ain't gonna count that first year. So I'm gonna go 1 and 2. Joe is against Lamar, and I guess that wasn't healthy, Joe. So it's 1-1, the way I'm looking at it right now. So tonight is really where we're going to sort things out.
I don't know. You counting this win we got this year, right?
No. Come
on.
That's banged up, Joe. Let me see if you guys have beat Joe Burrow yet. I don't think you guys have beat Joe yet. Oh, no. That's not true. Last year on that Sunday night game, you guys won that game.
Beat y'all week 2. What are you talking about?
Nah, that wasn't real Joe. He was hurt, Joe. And to be a little bit fair again, now that I think about it, he did get his appendix removed last year in August. So I don't even know if Lamar's beat real Joe yet. We're gonna have to look deeper into that issue.
You know what I'm starting to see from you Cincinnati fans? Excuses. Excuses. And what's next? What's the reason y'all don't have a Super Bowl? What's the reason for that too?
Now, I don't want to bring this up here, okay? But you brought it up, okay? We all know the 3rd and 8 against the Rams. They not only was that not a holding, they had a false start on the same play. A false start, they didn't call it. Then they called the no hold on Wilson, and they wanted Stafford. They wanted the Rams to get a Super Bowl win, so they got their win. But that's the reason. And last year, we know Pat Mahomes. That's the NFL's boy right there.
Oh,
they love them some Pat Mahomes and those. You know what? I hate blaming the refs though, man. You just got to overcome all that stuff. Right. It hasn't fell our way, man. It hasn't fell our way, and I'm jealous. So jealous of the Steelers and Ravens for you guys got Super Bowl wins. And what can I say, man? I can't win too many arguments with no Super Bowl ring, unless it's Loshawn Watson and the Cleveland Browns. I can make fun of those guys. You know what I
mean? Well, that's in the same state as y'all. So yeah, you most definitely got that one over there. So what do you think it would take for the Bengals to win? Because I gave you my takes on how I felt like what it would take for us to win and what it means for us to win. What does it mean for y'all to actually win this Thursday night game? Because I felt like if the Ravens win, I felt like we control the North here on out.
If you guys win, you basically have a 3-game lead on us, right? Because you got the tiebreaker. We'll be 2 games down. This game's huge for us. I mean, it's everything. Our schedule's brutal. The rest of the way out, we got the Chiefs. We got Jacksonville. Even the Vikings are looking tough. 2 against the Steelers, who suck on paper, but somehow they keep winning. And so tonight's everything for us. I'm a nervous wreck. We got to get this game, and we're gonna have to rely on the magic of Joe Burr here, and that's what it's gonna take, because he's gonna have to have a special night. He's gonna have to have a special night, and with T. Higgins being out, it's a huge loss. Hubbard's a huge loss, and we're gonna have to jump out to a lead. And we got to try to make you guys one-dimensional, which I'm hoping, because this was the first time that Lou went against Monken with the Ravens in that first week, because you guys carved us up, no doubt about it. You carved us up, so hopefully there'll be some more adjustments this game, and we got a better game plan going into it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the things that y'all put yourselves in also, is kind of going one-dimensional. I feel like when y'all don't add Joe Mixon to the mix, your offensive scheme is just lost. It just seems like, don't get me wrong, I feel like Joe Burrow can throw 30 times and y'all can win. But I don't think it's a healthy balance for Joe to throw 30 times and try to drag out their win. And I also felt like that was y'all downfall last week against the Texans, is that y'all put too much on Joe instead of just Joe Mixon is a decent running back. He's a game changer. If Joe Mixon start hitting to the outside and hitting the holes and start hitting those 15+ yard runs, the Bengals are a team that is hard to handle. So do you think that Joe Mixon will see some more touches, or it will be more of Joe Mixon more than Joe Burrow?
Well, that's up to the Ravens, right? If we can't run on them, then it is what it is. So Joe Mixon's, I would like to see a little more from Chris Evans, the running back out of Michigan.
Okay.
There's just once in a while Mixon, he chooses the wrong hole. There was a play I saw last week. It was just one example, but the guy is explosive, and you got to get him cranking, and he can really put up some yards. There doesn't seem to be much creativity from our run game. It just seems like they're always doing the draw, and for some reason, and this is my main problem with Zach Taylor, is that there's a 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. He's always got to go wide all the time. It's never just pound Mixon right up in there. But eventually Mixon's only, I think, 27 years old.
Right.
So he should have a little bit of gas left in the tank. So I'd love to see us ride him a little bit tonight, and I'm hoping we have long, sustained drives where they're the best when they're getting those long, sustained drives when they're mixing it up, getting the tight ends in there, and watch out for our boy Hudson. He's been an upgrade at tight end. He's helped us out a lot.
Yeah, I'm starting to see his game starting to elevate a little bit, because when y'all lost Hayden Hurst last year, and he was a Raven once upon a time, we drafted Hayden Hurst. I feel like that was your wild card. That was your switchblade. Hayden Hurst can be your tight end, and he can be your slot wide receiver at times. And I think once y'all had lost Hayden Hurst, that big 3 now is just focusing back on that 3 wide receiver monster y'all have in Boyd, Higgins, and Chase. So I most definitely feel like if y'all tight end can get into the game, then Cincinnati offense can change a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough, because we got Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton right now, he is my favorite Raven right now. Kyle Hamilton is our safety, and I wanted to see what type of shoes he was going to actually fill in once we lost Chuck Clark last year into the trading him to the Jets. I wanted to see how Kyle Hamilton was going to come along, and right now Kyle Hamilton is really showing up this year. He's getting sacks, he's getting interceptions, he's playing inside the box. He can play your tight end, he can play wide receivers, he can also play running backs. It's like Kyle Hamilton is our most definitely switch army knife. Who do y'all think is like a switch army knife or somebody under the radar that you feel like can change this game?
Dax Hill. Yeah, he's been a real game changer. The problem right now, though, Nick Scott he's that guy last week, man, he fell down and started praising Jesus, man, right at the line of scrimmage. I don't even know what happened, man. He went right to his knees. And that running back went right by him, man. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. But Dax Hill, they'll bring him in on, some disguised blitzes here and there. And that guy, to me, he's going to be an upgrade over Bates. And Cam Taylor-Britt has been the real deal. He has been phenomenal. He's the cornerback out of Nebraska. He's been great. Huge disappointment right now is our number one pick, Miles Murphy. He hasn't done anything. Joseph Asai, defensive end, he was showing some promise, man. He was the guy last year. He pushed Mahomes out of bounds in that playoff game,
right?
And he got banged up in August, but it looks like that got in his head. He caught a lot of heat for that play, and it just seems like he hasn't snapped out of that yet. So, right. But I don't know. If you saw the play, Hendrickson, he looked like he got shot when he rolled up. I was like, did his knee explode? So the fact that he's playing tonight blows. I can't believe it.
Yeah, when I seen that he was on an injury report, I was like, ooh, both of their edge rushers won't be playing and stuff like that. And then when I seen that he was actually going to give it a go, I was like, as a fan, if I was a Bengals fan, yes, I would be happy. The more pressure on Lamar, the better. But as a true football fan, if you're not 100%, why are you kind of going out there? Because now you're risking a lot of things as far as injuring yourself. You can re-aggravate that injury, whatever that injury was last week. If you can't perform at 100, then you're actually putting a man that probably had a better chance than him to actually get to Lamar. Because we already know once Lamar get to the outside of that lines, then it's going to be chasing. You know what I mean? You don't want to keep chasing him all night long with an injury.
No, not at all. I have no proof or evidence, but if I had to suggest that there was a serial killer on the Cincinnati Bengals, it would be Trey Hendrickson. The guy is a psycho, and I just think he wants to play. Go ahead and play, man. I'm all for it.
Right.
I just don't know how effective he's going to be. Hubbard isn't going to be as much of a loss as a pass rusher, but a run stopper. That's where I'm nervous for that. That's a big loss. But we got to win, So if you can go, you got to go because we need this one. We got to have it. You guys don't even want this game, man. You guys are already. Lamar gets a little antsy on prime time, and he's already living in Joe Burrow's shadow. I could see him probably wanting to sit this one out, maybe the second half or something. You know what I mean? If the Bengals get too big of a blowout, I expect Lamar probably to be sitting. You know what I mean? Just to rest him.
I heard that. We got a couple of comments, man, and to believe it or not, man, people liking what you saying, man. They said Joe Burrow was robbed. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy, Burry, man. And he said he had to side with the Bengals genius,
See,
I don't know why. Burry, let me find out you an undercover Bengals fan, man. Let me find out you one of them AI people that be in the crowds.
Well, it's the Joe Burrow effect. If I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure there are more Joe Burrow jerseys in the black community than Lamar Jackson. I haven't done a study on this to make it official, but I'm pretty sure people love Joe Burrow.
Don't do that study because I don't want your feelings to get hurt. You gotta sit here and remember, man. Lamar at 2019 is MVP year. Lamar had the most sellout jerseys in the sports world, so I already know hands down that it's no comparison when it comes to jersey sales, man.
Joe Burrow's just beloved. That's what can I say? I got no explanation for
Don't
it.
get me wrong, man. Joe Burrow got that swag. He got that confidence, that cool, that Joe cool, most definitely.
I'll tell you one thing though about Lamar. He really has impressed me this year. The guy he looked like he's taken his game to another level. And last year, I felt horrible for him that he didn't have that deal and he hurt his knee. That was rough. I didn't like that at all. So I was happy for him that he got paid. He deserves it, man. The guy's a stud.
Most definitely deserve it. Joe Burrow deserved it too. So it's good to see that our quarterbacks is going to be here for the next 5 years. It's good to say that.
Yeah, the thing that's rough though, man, is like I can't think of the team that once they get that big deal. I know that Mahomes, and I'm not 100% certain. I'm not a salary cap expert, but once that big deal trickles down, and your team's really affected by it, has a team won a Super Bowl 3 years into that mega deal? That's what I don't know off the top of my head. I know Mahomes signed his and then they won, but I'm saying 2 years. Like your window's so small. Once you sign that mega deal, that makes me nervous because you got so many holes, and how do you fill it? Like that's what makes me so nervous about the 49ers. They're loaded because they're paying the guy, they're paying him in beer cans.
Yeah. And then, for y'all got eventually that wide receiver room. Them 3 wide receivers that's going to eventually is going to want to get paid. So, who y'all going to let go? Who y'all want to bring back? Who's looking to take that pay cut? We already know Jamar Chase is due for a big deal. Yeah. The way he came up on scene is like murder she wrote.
I got no doubt in my mind T. Higgins will end up with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's going to torture us. It's a perfect fit. He's going to have a huge chip on his shoulder. He's great, too. He's a great player. I'd give the edge to a little more explosive as Jamar. And then when you factor in the years of experience he has with Joe Burrow, you know what I mean? You gotta go with Chase there. But
right.
No, T. Higgins is gone, and he's a great player. I love him. And that's why this year is such a critical year. We got the offensive lineman we need. We got the pieces in place, man. The time is now. We got to do it now.
Yeah, and that's how it feels over here in Baltimore. Like the time is now. We have the team. Like I told you on your show, we went 14-2 before. We know what it's like to have that first round bye and then stank it up in that divisional round. So hopefully that we paid attention to that, and that this year that. Now that we got the wide receiver weapons for Lamar, now that our defense is kind of being compared to our 2000 defense, which is, I see the numbers, but to compare it to that defense is like, nah.
No, man, that defense was definitely top 3 I've ever seen in my life, man. I could debate between them and the Bears that I saw in my years of watching, but that defense was insane, and Ed Reed is the smoothest, one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. That guy is – I love Ed Reed. He's an absolute stud. I was just going to say, though, and then I got to head out, but, Lamar Jackson, like, who was the big quarterback his first 2 years? Like, who was winning the Super Bowl those 2 years? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
For us? We had
and So when you guys are 14-2, I know that was the year you guys lost to Tennessee. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Who won the Super Bowl that year?
I felt like that was probably the Chiefs,
or maybe the Chiefs or New England, right? Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's what's so hard.
It might have been the Bucks, either the Chiefs or the Bucks that year.
And that's what's so hard, right? That window is like, you're coming up, you're right there knocking, and then next thing you know, there's a Joe Burrow. There's a C.J. Stroud now. I'm like, C.J. Stroud, I'm dealing with Pat Mahomes. I haven't even dealt with Pat Mahomes yet, and now we got to deal with C.J. Stroud. It's just hard. It's just hard to win a Super Bowl. It's just hard.
So before I let you go, man, and like I said, I greatly appreciate you joining, man. Give me your offensive keys for y'all to win tonight. What do you think that it's going to take for y'all to actually win tonight?
Controlling the ball, getting Joe Mixon going, hitting our opportunities, and getting that lead. We got to get the lead. The lead against Lamar is a totally different game from when you're trailing. When you're trailing him, it's a nightmare because he could run, he could throw. It's just you just got too many options. I like limiting a little bit of if we got the lead, then then Lamar won't run as much. You know what I mean? And then we can focus on one thing. But when you don't know if he's running or throwing, he's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare.
So on your defensive side, what are the keys that you feel like can stop the Ravens or should stop?
Well, what we were doing was trying to just contain Lamar in the pocket, and then he just picked us apart. So somehow we're going to have to generate pressure on him without letting those big plays bust through, and we're going to have to tackling, and that's it, and just try to limit the big plays for Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Hey, Bengals genius, man. I appreciate you for joining in, man. Tell the people where we can find you at, man. All your platforms, all your social medias.
It's all Bengals Genius everywhere. Check me out on YouTube, Cincinnati Bengals Genius Show. Check it out. Subscribe. It's free. Twitter. And I got on TikTok, too. I don't do as much with Instagram, but I got to get that going, too. But, man, I appreciate you meeting you this week, man.
Yeah,
I look forward to talking more ball with you. And then, no hard feelings after you guys lose tonight. And that's it, man. Love the show, bro.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you for having me on. And as always, my guy, big trust.
Oh, one more thing out there. All you Ravens fans that want to jump on the bandwagon, come on. We welcome you with open arms. Get on board the Super Bowl train. All right. Houday. Thank you, my friend.
All right, my guy. As we just had my guy, the Bengals genius, man. Like, you see why he called himself the Bengals genius, man. He got great stats. He can give out good information. And he was able to hold his own against, the Ravens, you feel me? But I don't think that the Bengals are going to win tonight. Of course not. So, before I let y'all go, man, let me give y'all my offensive keys, what I think is going to happen. First and foremost, the Ravens have to limit the turnovers. If the Ravens and Lamar can limit the turnovers, the Ravens can win. We don't have to worry about playing behind. As we seen the stat, man, the Ravens, when trailing against opponents, we're not even a first half time limit yet. Like, people, we are always up. So that's a good thing about it that I feel like the Ravens can do is keep the time of possession down for opponents. Number two, the offense cannot go stale. That was one of the things that we had problems with last week against the Browns. It was like the offense was clicking in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. But when it got to the fourth quarter, the offense got stuck in quicksand, went in stale mode. Nobody wanted to deal with it no more. So the offense has to keep clicking. Find some way to keep putting points on the board, whether it's just 3 points or whether it's touchdowns. The Ravens offense cannot go stale beyond that 50-yard line. We have to get across that 50, and once we get across that 50, man, we have to punch it in for touchdowns. That's the only way I feel like the Ravens can most definitely have a great offense. The third key is don't forget about the run. Please don't forget about Keaton Mitchell, man. Keaton Mitchell had a breakout first half, and then after that, coming back at the halftime, Keaton Mitchell was nowhere to be found. No plays was called for him. He wasn't even out on offensive sets. Ravens, please run the ball. Run Keaton Mitchell. Make sure Gus Edwards is in there to get the touchdowns that he's normally getting. You feel me? So if the Ravens can most definitely keep that pound the rock as normal, control the time of possession, Cincinnati won't grab that lead or can't grab a lead from us. They're going to have to keep trailing, playing behind. Make Joe Burrow throw 30 times a game or 30-plus times a game. The more we take away that run, the more we can have that offense and we can keep controlling the clock. We have to run the ball. No point blank period, man. So that's my offensive keys right there. And on the defensive side, number one is get back to normal, man. Last week, the Ravens defense didn't look normal. We allowed the Cleveland Browns to put up 33 points. That's not normal for us. We are a team that can keep you in the teens. Our average score is 17 points a game. We allow opponents to score on us. We got to trickle that number back down to 15. So we got to get back to normal. Get back to playing fast, physical defense. The defense is going to have to find a way to bend and not break again. Because in the previous week, we were always bending but never breaking. Last week, we broke too many times. The defense have to play solid and get back to normal. Wrap up. Get to the quarterback. So on. Create opportunities. What I mean by create opportunities, man, you have to create you have to get sacks on Joe Burrow. Make him uncomfortable. If you make him uncomfortable, get him 3 and outs, they are punting and giving our offense more opportunities to score. Or if the Ravens can score on defense, take those opportunities. We did good last week when Kyle Hamilton was able to grab that interception early. I'm looking for us to do kind of have a similar route, but the defense have to play physical fast and make sure that we are able to tackle and play normal, man. And the last key is create turnovers. That was one thing that our defense has been doing, is creating turnovers and getting sacks. If we can do that, that's a recipe of winning. So I feel like if the Ravens can do those 6 things, 3 things on offense and 3 things on defense, hands down that we will beat the Cincinnati Bengals again and sweep them this year. So I'm calling for the brims. Let's bring the brims out to these alley cats, you feel me? So I'm hoping that my Ravens get the victory. And like I said, man, I feel like the Ravens will win 24-17. So pay attention to the game. Pay close attention, please. Ravens, pay close attention to detail and come out with this win, man. Don't let these alley cats win. Don't let these little pussy cats meow, man. They can't go in here meow like pussy cats to full-grown lions. Remember that. All right, man. As I always, man, I appreciate everybody who tuned into this show, man. I appreciate my guy, my guest, special guest, Bengals Genius, man, for copping in, man. I greatly appreciate it. I was honored to meet you this week. Hopefully, and I know we will, build more chemistry so we can actually try to maybe stream a game together eventually. We can call games together, Bengals and Ravens next season. You know what I mean? Be on the lookout for that. Also be on the lookout for the Grid Network, yo. Please, if you have not subscribed to the Grid Network, go ahead. What are you waiting for? It's a dope network. We have dope shows, carving it up with Bryce, all even podcasts, Clutch Sports, Outside the Cage, Raiders Roundup, MTMO. So please, I'm trying to tell y'all, this is a network that you don't want to miss. Dare to be different. Enter the grid, you feel me? Because like I said, not only when you enter the grid, yo, we got our clothing line where we can get hats, shirts, sweatshirts, and the list goes on. So visit our website. You know what I mean? Check us out. Clothing line is real dope. The apparel is real dope. You feel me? And as always, my flockers, big trust. Because why trust anything else? I'm out.